Welcome to the Your Courageous Life podcast, where we explore what it really means to transform fear, burnout, and perfectionism with the practice of courage. I'm Kate, author of the books 100% Fully Alive and The Courage Habit, creator of YourCourageousLife.com, and head of the CLCC Coach Training Program at TeamCLCC.com. If you're someone who feels deeply, thinks critically, and wants to stay grounded in a world that can feel like too much, then this is the podcast for you. Learn evidence-based and heart-centered tools to practice courage so that who you are on the inside becomes how you live, lead, and show up on the outside. And now, let's get into today's episode. Oh, hey there. The holiday season is upon us. And so today we're going to talk about how to reduce the stress, specifically how to actually enjoy the holidays. Because for a lot of people, the holiday season ends up not being a time to slow down and reflect and be with the people they love. It often brings out the worst combination of burnout, guilt over what you can or can't do, forced cheer, performative being cheery. And if you feel any of that, you're not alone. Somewhere between trying to make everything meaningful, reflect on the year past, prepare for the year to come, and often a pressure of trying to make everyone happy. It's like there's nothing about this time of year that feels good. So today I'm sharing my 3 rules for a stress-free holiday season. And these are rules that are really about courage. The courage to simplify, to say no without feeling bad, and to really define joy for yourself. And I am saying this as someone who historically has not loved the holidays. I grew up in a household where there was a lot of tension around the holidays, particularly around money, where people being off of work and me being not in school was not great. I would have rather been at school. So the stress of all of that, being around people you don't really want to be around, the travel, all of it. Let's just rewrite some of these rules, okay? These are some rules that I adopted years ago. They can be hard, and I'm going to speak to how sometimes guilt or I feel like I'm upsetting people comes up. But there we go. Okay, first rule. Don't do it all. Don't do it all. I know. You're like, Kate, come on. I wouldn't be listening to this if I could just tell myself, don't do it all. No, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Because I literally I have been in holiday seasons, literally in the kitchen with people who are so stressed out over trying to make the perfect holiday meal, they are ruining the holidays for everybody. So if your aim, you're trying to fit the magic and the meals and the travel and navigate the family dynamics and the end of year work deadlines into 1 month and soak it all in, how well are you doing that? Is it working? If the ultimate aim is connection, togetherness, reflection, if it ain't working, it ain't working. And I have just been in too many rooms with people who are, I've been at stores with people who are so stressed out trying to get it all done, and they're making everybody around them miserable. So stop approaching the holidays like a to-do list on steroids. I'm going to be really real with you. My holiday meal is going to come from Whole Foods. Yeah, they have an online ordering system. You can order all your Thanksgiving stuff. They have a Christmas, thing too. And you just go pick it up at the store and pop it into the oven and heat everything up. And then I personally put it in a pretty nice dish. And then it's like, I don't spend all day in the kitchen. I'm chill and everybody's happy with the food. It honestly costs about the same. And then everybody's doing well. Same thing with gifts, this pressure that we feel to get just the right gift for somebody. Look, if they love you because you're getting just the right gift, something's wrong. Something's wrong. So let's slow down. Instead of trying to do everything, what would it be like to do what's meaningful? Ask yourself the question, what would make this season feel peaceful, not perfect? Maybe it's you don't actually go to your in-laws on the actual holiday. You don't travel during the busy Christmas season. Maybe you see people in January after airline ticket prices have typically fallen. So what would make this season feel peaceful, not perfect, not performative? Pick 3 priorities if you need to list them, and that's it. And make everything else optional because you're trying to trade in your obligation and instead be in intention. Next rule that I have, decide ahead of time what I'm available for. Because I think holiday stress usually comes from this overly idealized view of what it's supposed to be, and then being reactionary when things don't go according to plan or there's too much to do. So are you accepting every invitation even though you don't want to? Are there expectations that people are holding about how you're supposed to show up? Are there people who feel like they know what you should be doing? And I'm thinking right now of a particular situation that I was in for a couple of years where I was going to, I'll call them a family member's house. And they had an expectation that the only way for me to contribute was to literally be in the kitchen with them, helping on everything. And there was this they wanted to spend hours in the kitchen every single holiday cooking these lavish meals. And that was their choice. That was not fun for me. If I wanted to bring the store-bought pumpkin pie or make my own pumpkin pie and bring it, that was a problem. I wasn't seen as contributing if I did that. And then I remember one year where the pressure was kind of applied and I took the bait and found myself in the kitchen for 2 hours after they were done cooking, washing every plate, every fork, everything. And don't get me wrong, I love the idea of contribution, but the energy that person was holding around contribution was that they got to determine what was considered an appropriate contribution. And the energy of me being in that kitchen for hours afterwards cleaning up was, that's right, you'd better be in the kitchen cleaning up for hours afterwards because you didn't do enough to make the meal. And I'm not subscribing to that. You don't have to subscribe to that. Decide ahead of time. This is the rule for yourself that I'm including or encouraging rather. Decide ahead of time what you're available for. What kind of gatherings actually feel good? How much contribution is the right amount of contribution? How much travel is too much? Who can you see joyfully? Who drains you every single year? And a decision that I just made, and it honestly has been a great point of personal growth, was at first to just decide to bring the store-bought pumpkin pie and say that is my contribution. And it's not really my business what somebody else thinks of my contribution. And if they think I'm not contributing enough, then that's okay. They get to think that because it's not my business what they think. And there were that attitude only served to really upset the person. And they escalated it and they wanted to argue around it. And so I just made a decision. Okay, I'm deciding ahead of time. I'm not doing holidays with them in the future. And that's okay. I don't need to do holidays under these circumstances. You're not a hostage, babe. So you set those boundaries before the pressure hits. You can always soften later if it feels right. To use my example, I could bring the store-bought pumpkin pie. And if things are feeling great later, maybe I'll be like, yeah, let's hang out in the kitchen and like we're going to knock out these dishes and play some music and laugh. Like if it's feeling good, great. But if it's not feeling good, if I'm not feeling respected, or if I am compromising in a way where I'm not self-respecting myself, it's not working. Boundaries don't ruin the holidays. They make space for more peace. They really do. Rule 3. Okay, this is a big one, and it's one that I need to remember as a parent. Sometimes the pressure that the holidays have to be perfect comes from an old script, which means that it's time to redefine what togetherness or connection mean, sometimes even collaboration. Collaboration is not somebody else tells you, I need you to arrive by 3:00 and here's what I need you to bring. Is what would be most helpful to me. If you're collaborating with me, this is what you'll do. Nope. Collaboration is, I speak into my needs. I ask what your needs are. You respond to my needs. You tell me what your needs are. I respond to your needs. That's collaboration. The old scripts are often, well, a good parent would do this, or a real family would show up this way. But maybe togetherness looks like quiet connection instead of chaos. Maybe it's ordering that takeout or that Whole Foods turkey instead of cooking for 12. Maybe it's spending the day volunteering. Maybe it's having all day to go on a hike. Maybe it's just, we've been running around so much and we've never had unstructured time. It feels like the whole year. Let's do movies in our pajamas all day. Joy doesn't need to look like what it looks like on TV or anybody else's version of joy. Redefine togetherness, redefine connection. It just needs to be yours. So if you want to have a stress-free holiday, the most courageous thing you can do is to honor your actual bandwidth, not your fantasy bandwidth, not your obligatory bandwidth. It might become uncomfortable, and that's why I'm saying decide ahead of time what you're available for. Don't do it all. Intentionally, don't do it all. Pick your priorities. Decide what you're available for. Really redefine what togetherness and connection mean. The point is not to get through the holidays. That often sneaks into the way we talk about them. All right, we just got to get through the holidays. No, the point is to feel alive in them. So pick what matters. Protect your peace. And let the rest go. And I know that that's uncomfortable, but living your best life is not always about choosing what's uncomfortable. And if you know that every year before this year, you felt the same resentment, the same burnout and overwhelm, and you've sworn to yourself 10 times, I'm going to do it differently this year, well, guess what? This is your opportunity, and this is the training ground. You don't get different results by doing the same thing you've done every other year. You get different results by deciding that the price of discomfort is worth it if you can leave the holiday season truly feeling connected, truly feeling like you honored your values, and truly feeling ready to move into a new year. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Before you go, would you take just one moment to give a rating in whatever podcast app you're listening in right now? It's a tiny action that helps to get this podcast out to more people. And I've got more for you. You can get access to free resources, audios, worksheets, and more for practicing courage in your everyday life. Head over to yourcourageouslife.com and become a subscriber, and you'll get access to an entire library of free courageous resources. And if you've ever thought about becoming a coach, or if you want to bring deeper presence and purpose to your work life so that corporate job doesn't feel quite so soul-sucking, check out the CLCC Coach Training Program at teamclcc.com. Thank you again for listening, and I hope that whatever today brings, you meet it with courage.